Welcome to Nova Scotia. From the scenery of Cape Breton Island to the cityscapes of Halifax, we're visiting 8 yarn stores in this video, trying some donair, and eating lots of yummy treats. Let's explore Nova Scotia. Our journey to Nova Scotia actually takes place in 2 parts, which we've put together in this video. The first is our drive through Nova Scotia to get to Newfoundland, which we put up in last week's vlog if you haven't seen it. And then it was our journey back west as we went through and explored more of this province. Kent is inside the Alexander Graham Bell National Historic Site, and no, Toaster and I are hanging out in the car. I'm eating a little more of the coffee cake that I just got. It's so good. It's basically like, I can't remember the name of the Canadian treat. I think it's Coffee Crisp. I feel like it's like that, but in a more mousse cake-like version. It's so good. So normally, whenever we would stop at a national historic site that I was less interested in Kent, I really don't want to go outside because it's raining, more likely. But whenever that would happen in the US, I would use that opportunity to send a few emails or get a little bit of work done. But here, it's a lot more effortful to have internet. We have to set up this whole thing, whereas in the US, I just opened my computer. So because I can't easily get on my computer and work, I'm not going to, and I'm going to try to be more relaxed during this trip. And I've just started my Canadian blanket and I'm so happy with it. I'm doing the Yorkshire crochet along blanket pattern. It's a pattern that I have made previously and I followed the directions to a T. I did it in fingering weight. All of this stuff. And I just enjoyed it so much. It's 12 different blanket square patterns and they're so much fun. And so I thought this would be a great way to commemorate my time here in Canada. So my plan right now is to still do the 12 different blanket patterns. So I've just started with one of my favorites, which is this rose. I'm almost done. I think I have 3 more rounds to do. And I am holding my yarn double to make it DK weight using a larger hook. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter. And my thought is instead of you do 12 squares twice. So you repeat each pattern twice in the Yorkshire pattern. I think what I'm going to do instead is make 12 squares, at least 12 squares. I'm probably going to do more from the 12 patterns. And then in each color, also do a solid granny square just to kind of change things up and make it different. I'll see if that's possible. After I finish this one, I'm going to go for my solid granny square, but my hope is to use up as much of the 100 gram skein as possible. In my US blanket, I did not use up very much yarn. So I have probably, I would say at least 100 skeins of yarn that have 80 grams in them. And I still have them and I'm planning to do maybe a little something else with them. And then eventually I'll need to give all of those away because I just can't possibly use them all up. So to prevent myself from having so many leftovers, I'm going for less yarn, bigger squares, bigger blanket. Well, I don't know if it'll be a bigger blanket, but anyway, so we're just going to hang out and listen to an audiobook and do that. Our ferry to Newfoundland went out of North Sydney, Nova Scotia, and so we actually stayed in Sydney at this really gorgeous campground with this amazing view of the bridge. Lucky for us, there is a yarn store here, and our first yarny stop of the trip is going to be at Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop. Technically Tracy's Unrolling Yarn Shop because this is the brick and mortar version, and we're going to get to visit the Rolling Yarn Shop in just a little bit. This yarn store is brand new this summer, and we were so lucky to get to go and visit. They had so many different yarns from different parts of Canada and lots of choices for Nova Scotia yarns for my blanket. At this store, we learned about Fleece Artist, who is a Nova Scotia dyer, and they make colorways for different national parks around Canada. And they also make colorways for the different tartans. I believe each province has its own tartan, but also different areas have their own tartans. As you can see, this is the Cape Breton tartan. We're going to go to Cape Breton Island later on in this video. But as we continued our journey throughout Canada, we learned the significance and the importance of these tartans, and even different families and different areas have these as well. A regional treat that we wanted to make sure to try is oat cakes, and they apparently can come in lots of different ways. The ones that we got here are pretty simple. I would say somewhere in the lines of like a softer graham cracker. They're not really sweet. You can put different things on them like jelly, things to make them sweeter. But later on, we actually get another oat cake that is much more cookie-like, much sweeter. It had chocolate on top, but they were all delicious. This little boat was actually the last campground that we stayed at in Nova Scotia before we took the big ferry over to Newfoundland. So now we're going to time hop about 10 days into the future on our journey back through Nova Scotia. And poof, we have just landed in the North Sydney Ferry Terminal to go to Tracy's Rolling Yarn Shop. This is the original yarn shop that Tracy started many years ago, and it's in a trailer that she pulls around and takes all over Nova Scotia and into some other provinces too. There were actually different items inside the unrolling shop and the rolling shop, so we got to check out lots of new things. There were some familiar dyers, of course, but she actually had some unique colors that we only saw here in the rolling shop. Something we were making sure not to miss is the Cabot Trail. So this is a scenic drive about 298 kilometers or 185 miles that goes around the northern tip of Cape Breton Island. And in part of this as well, you can go to Cape Breton Highlands National Park. We only managed to do one hike in this park because it was so hot and muggy and the mosquitoes were wild. Got a 4-hour drive to Halifax today, so we've decided to make it fun by stopping at a few bakeries along the way.
We got a cinnamon roll.
Oh, looks so good.
And we also got a cheese croissant.
Oh, that's fine. Place number 2, we got brown butter cookies, which we're obviously going to be enjoying for a few days. Kent got a, what is this, pineapple coconut? A pineapple coconut muffin. And then I think he got a London Fog, right? And I got a cappuccino. And Toaster got nothing. Sorry, Toaster. Our last bakery stop for the day is actually a place we went to on the way out here, and I've been wanting to return to it because they have this coffee crisp sort of pastry thing, and I really hope they have it today. They had my coffee crunch, and I thought about getting a couple other things when I was there last time, and I didn't, so I got some coffee that's made in Nova Scotia, and I got some more jam. I actually did get this last time. It's so good. It has gooseberry, strawberry, and blueberry, so I got this one for a friend. So there's something we've been needing to try here in just like these provinces is called a donair. I think we're saying that right. It's not this though, is it?
I think it's that.
Okay, let's open this up. That's like almost like a calzone or something. Let's see, we'll just show you.
Oh no, that's the calzone thing.
Holy cow, that's huge.
I think.
Oh my gosh. There's different sauces. This might, I don't know, there's onions and stuff in there. So it's a little bit different everywhere, but I think it's essentially pita, meat, cheese, and some vegetables. Like sometimes, I feel like sometimes we've seen lettuce on it, but this one looks like it has onions and tomatoes. while we're in Halifax, we've decided to do our own personal yarn crawl, and we're going to be going to 6 stores in and around Halifax. The first store we're going to is the Violet Unicorn. This store is obviously so cute. It's purple, there's unicorns everywhere, there's all kinds of fun stuff inside. They have a lot of yarn, a lot of Canadian yarn, and a lot of like other fun gifts and things, but it's also on this gorgeous boardwalk with all these other fun shops around. Since I had already gotten at least 2 Nova Scotian yarns by this point, I was looking for other things to collect to remember our travels. And there were these hand-knitted little lobsters and lighthouses and fish and different things. So this is the point in the trip where Kent and I decided, you know what, I think we're gonna start collecting hand-knitted and hand-crocheted items to keep in the van as decoration. We also had such a great time talking to the owner, Leanne. She gave us lots of tips and tricks for the rest of our journey as we go across the Trans-Canada Highway. We had a nice shower at Planet Fitness, and now we're off to one more yarn store and then sushi. This is Stitch and Knit in Dartmouth, and it is in such a cool area. So many restaurants around, super walkable. It just seemed like a fun place to like be nearby, and you can just come in and hang out and sit and knit. They're super focused on natural fibers. So you're gonna see mostly wool fibers here, and so many that are made and milled or dyed in Canada. Now, Stitch and Knit is not just a yarn store. They also carry fabrics, and in the back they have several different sewing machines that you can actually rent out and use or take classes to learn how to sew.
Good morning. Our plan is to go to 3 more yarn stores here in Halifax today, but we are first coming to this little park that Kent wanted to go to. It's like a memorial park, and we're gonna take a quick walk. It's only like, what, 2 minutes from the first yarn store.
It's time for a little history lesson. On December 6, 1917, a cargo ship carrying explosives collided with another ship, causing a massive explosion that devastated Halifax. And this explosion is actually connected with the next yarn store we're going to, LK Yarns, because the area that it's located in, the Hydrostone Market, was one of the areas that really took it upon themselves to rebuild and create a new town. The area that it's located in, the Hydrostone Market, was one of the areas that was recognized for rebuilding and just reinvigorating the town.
Here we were introduced to another Nova Scotia dyer, Elegantly Twisted Yarns. We also learned that Fleece Artist, the one that makes all of the tartan yarns and the national park yarns, also makes a yarn line called Handmaiden. Next up is Fia Fia, and this is a really unique yarn shop because it's actually in the front part of their home. You can see there's a fireplace in there. This used to be the living room, and they built it out to where it is a full yarn store. If I hadn't asked, I would have had no idea that they also live in this space. By now, I'm sure you're starting to see some familiar yarns from your favorite Nova Scotia dyers, but we also got introduced to a new one, Cape Breton yarn. We actually passed by Inverness when we were on the Cabot Trail, and it sounds like there is where they raise their alpacas. Now we're off to Kreative Knits. This may be the tiniest yarn shop that we visited on this trip, but they do carry their own yarn, which I was so excited to see. Owner Leona introduced us to several different Canadian yarns that she carried. All right, we visited 3 yarn stores. It's time to take a break and go to lunch. We're eating at The Narrows, which is in an old Victorian house. Last yarn store on our impromptu yarn crawl is The Loop. Now this one is in town, so it's a little harder to park out, just an FYI if you're getting there. This store has everything. There's yarn, there's embroidery, there was tons and tons of fiber. They even had these awesome project bags that are actually made by the owner's mom.
Another cool thing they have in this shop is a Guinness World Record longest scarf. And I'm not 100% sure if this continues to be the world's longest scarf. I tried to do some Google research and couldn't really confirm, but safe to say that this is the longest scarf that I have ever seen. Thanks for joining us on our tour around Nova Scotia. We're making a video for each province that we visit throughout Canada. We have so much fun stuff coming up. We're actually getting to tour some different mills, different farms, and different places. So stay tuned. We have more coming. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.